I want to get you right out to ABC 15 Mornings anchor Nick Ciletti, live on the ground in Yuma, covering the end of Title 42 for us. Nick, you got there yesterday. Can you share what you've seen since your arrival?
Yeah, Justin and Kaylee, I can tell you, I got here to the border at 2 this morning, so I've been here for the last 4 hours, and we have just seen a steady flow of people, already hundreds of them wanting to come here, many of them telling me that they are going to go ahead and try to request asylum as they get processed. So this is all happening in a couple different stages. So Border Patrol agents will do an initial processing of people, will bus about 50 at a time back to their station. From there, there's an even more deeper processing that happens. So they get a health screening, they also get background checked. All of that is happening there at the Border Patrol station. So there's a lot of different steps from there. They might be hooked up with a nonprofit organization that helps them maybe get with family. So that way, when they go through the asylum process there, they at least have a sponsor, someone who can help support them through that. But we do want to mention that there are some changes happening to the asylum process. So let's go ahead and get into that for you this morning. Ahead of Title 42 expiring later on tonight, President Joe Biden has announced a near total crackdown on asylum seekers, which is really news to a lot of the people here. The new rule will deny asylum to migrants if they don't first apply for protection online or seek asylum in a different country first. So these are some big differences. The supervisor of Santa Cruz County here in Arizona saying that he hopes this and some other efforts will help prevent an even bigger wave of people trying to cross all at once.
As a human being, we understand, or maybe we don't understand, what many of these families are going through. So we have to have a little bit of compassion, but at the same time, when you don't have the resources that are there to really help provide a better shelter or a better way of addressing some of their needs, it makes it very hard.
So the Biden administration also announcing a new program to track migrant families who are released in the U.S. while they go through this process here. It's called Family Expedited Removal Management, or FIRM for short. So under this program, instead of being detained, families have to stay under home confinement as long as they're here in the U.S. And the head of the household also has to wear a GPS ankle monitor device. The families still have the opportunity to claim asylum in this program, and if they qualify, go through the asylum process, and of course proving that credible fear that is necessary for an individual who is trying to seek asylum in this country. Our coverage of Title 42 ending continues right now with the story you will only see on ABC 15 Mornings right now. So we're here at the border. We're talking about how the country has more than 1,900 miles of border, and we were able to exclusively go on a fly-along with CBP's Air and Marine Operations Unit to find out what it takes to make sure there is enough surveillance there on the border from the ground and also from the sky.
Just came in, group of 22.
It's not even noon, and already Customs and Border Protection agent Brett Howard is getting his first call of the day.
So it's 72 miles. It's going to take us about 30 minutes to get there.
Agent Howard is part of CBP's Air and Marine Operations Unit. We recently went for a fly-along over the southern Arizona desert as Agent Howard works in tandem with fellow CBP agents in the U.S. Border Patrol to make sure all eyes are on the border. So then when you respond to this call of 22 people, what is your role in this going to be?
So it could be a number of things. So a lot of times the agents might actually see the group, and they will wait for an area unit to get on scene, so that whenever they go in to make an apprehension, they'll kind of just sit and wait and keep an eye on them, sit and wait for us. And then when we get on scene, they'll go in and make the apprehension. They're almost always led by, a coyote.
Yeah.
But the coyotes are elusive, and it's not very often that we catch them.
Is that typical for the coyotes to run off and then leave these people there stranded alone?
Oh yeah, very common.
To make that trek even more treacherous, Agent Howard says most of these migrants aren't prepared for the unforgiving terrain, potentially deadly heat, or any of the other obstacles they'll encounter along the way.
You don't know what kind of condition these people could be in, so they might need medical assistance or really the gamut.
Correct, yeah. A lot of times we do get the 911 calls, especially here in the Baba Caveries. I don't think that the people coming across have a full grasp of what they're actually going through.
139, gonna be on Ajo.
As we head west towards Ajo, the call is made to send in another unit. So instead, we head south, flying towards the border, where from the sky, we spot a number of trails created over time by foot traffic from the hundreds, even thousands of migrants using the same path.
So this would be a possible path for them?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, you'll see, you won't be able to get lost up here because the path is so well worn, but you could get yourself in trouble.
So we're actually flying along the border right now. We're here on the U.S. side, but about 20 yards to my left is the Mexico side.
And it's flying over the border where we can see the range of barriers from actual border wall
And this is a major upgrade from what it used to be of just 3-strand barbed wire.
to fencing just a few feet tall to barely anything at all.
So do you feel like this is something that's pretty easy to cross, right, at this point?
Oh yeah. Some people say that a wall doesn't work. I would have to argue that it helps. You know, nothing is 100%.
Would you like to see more of the wall built? Do you think that would help?
Well, I think anything you can do to help reinforce our borders would be a good thing. I mean, you always want more tools in your tool belt to help do your job.
All right, so what is the current status of the wall? It's a question we get asked quite a bit. We know that there are projects near the Morelos Dam area here in Yuma to try to build and fill in parts of the wall where those storage containers were up until just a few months ago. We actually drove along the border yesterday and we did see a crew putting up parts of the border fence. So we know that there was at least that crew trying to put up more of this border wall. We'll continue to ask questions and keep tabs on that. What I mentioned, there's also a humanitarian group here right now that's passing out water and granola bars to the people who've been waiting in line. And Justin, we talked in the last half hour, you were asking how long people have been waiting in line. I want to show you. So this is Marco Antonio, the gentleman from Honduras that I introduced you to earlier. And he was talking about wanting to come here for work opportunities. So he's now in the second phase of getting through this process. So when we met him a half an hour ago, he was in the line, he was near the front of it, but now he's advanced to this part. From here, he's gonna take a bus to the Border Patrol station there where we mentioned they go through more surveillance. There's going to be medical checks. There's also going to be background checks that are performed as well. But that process there took him about probably 30, 45 minutes in total. He was probably in line for at least a couple hours. We'll continue to stay on the ground here and monitor the latest situation for you. Coming up in just a few minutes, you're also going to hear from the Tucson Sector Border Patrol Chief about how that sector is also bracing for this.
Our Nick Ciletti live out there. Fascinating report from that agent in the sky talking about the difficult terrain and how dangerous that is. I know the government is doing PSAs in Spanish trying to discourage people because they're not aware of how harsh Arizona is.
And we've seen
weather.
children walking behind
Absolutely.
you, Nick. As you've been reporting, we're seeing children also walking behind you. I know you've got a lot more to share with us in the moments to come here on ABC 15 Morning, so we will check back in with you.